In today's video, I'll be breaking down the top 3 AI altcoins for November and beyond for your crypto portfolio. And I will also be providing a bonus altcoin at the end of the video, which is pretty low in market cap, but is one that I think has huge potential as well. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you enjoy this type of content and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. I upload every single week to help you succeed in the market with altcoin guides, airdrop guides, and all sorts of informative research-based content to help you in your crypto journey. Without further ado, let's get into this list of the top 3 AI altcoins for November and beyond. The first thing to note is that Bitcoin currently is performing really well, and it's renewed a lot of the interest back in the crypto sector. And of course, when the interest comes back to the crypto sector, a lot of that eventually funnels down into the altcoins, and this is something that we have started to see over the last couple of weeks. Right now on a high time frame, just touching on Bitcoin for a second, you can see we've broken above the 31k region. These are the ranges that I'm thinking of Bitcoin on the higher time frame, on the weekly time frame. I'm seeing clearly defined ranges between 20k and 25, 25 and 30, 30 and 40, which is the range we're just breaking into. And then of course, there's your bull market euphoria range of 42k to 58k. So right now, Bitcoin looking super strong, and a lot of that momentum is now starting to funnel down to alts, but keeping in mind that dominance has generally still been on the rise. So right now, we're not seeing an overall alt season. What we're seeing is sector outperformance. So specific sectors, and AI is one of them that, of course, we're discussing today, are actually outperforming a lot of the other narratives in the market. In terms of where we currently sit as a cycle, it's kind of interesting that right now, if you line up the Wall Street cheat sheet with the price of Bitcoin on the 1 daily time frame, you can see that we're currently in what would look to be the disbelief stage of the rally, where people don't really believe that it's real, but it ends up shocking everyone, leading into a massive bull run. Now, I don't necessarily know for a fact whether we're towards the end of the disbelief stage or whether we're still just in the beginning of the depression heading into the belief stage. But what I do know is that a lot of people, I think, have been relatively skeptical of this latest rally, and a lot of people are sidelined. So I guess the disbelief sentiment does probably apply to how a lot of market participants are currently feeling at the moment. But I did think this chart was kind of crazy, how similarly we've actually been following it in terms of Bitcoin's price action. So with the market starting to heat up a little bit, I think it really puts an onus on the strongest narratives in the market, because as I said before, not every narrative has been pumping. There's been very select sectors which are outperforming. Interestingly, most of the narratives that are outperforming now in October and November are the same narratives that were outperforming during the major Bitcoin rally during January and February. It's almost as if the market took an 8-month sabbatical, because we've pretty much resumed where we left off, with a lot of those narratives like AI, Chinese coins, etc. being some of the outperformers, with the exception of some of the more news-based trades like the LSD trade earlier in the year. So this is definitely an interesting observation to make, that you can learn a lot by looking at the leaders in January, Feb in terms of your trading now. And clearly AI has emerged at the front of this narrative for a couple of reasons. Not only because it was hot earlier in the year, but of course, in the lead up to what is the busiest conference season for AI. So over the course of November, as you can see on the screen in front of you, there are some massive conferences for AI, the most notable one being the Open AI First Developer Day, which is an event where we've seen a lot of announcements being teased in the lead up. And I think AI coins are really gaining momentum into the lead up to this event. Will it be a buy the rumor, sell the news event? Possibly, but more importantly, what I think it's done is put the spotlight back on AI as a narrative. And AI is a super interesting narrative, both long-term and short-term. Long-term, it's an interesting growth vertical, because I believe there is a lot of potential for AI and even its intersection with crypto to develop into a very strong bona fide narrative. But in the short term, when we do see market strength, when we see market rallies, AI is one of the narratives that goes the hardest. I don't think you can deny that. Whenever we've seen consistent market pumps, AI has pumped the hardest, because from a retail perspective, it's one of the narratives that is the hottest and has gained the most public interest. So when we do see these explosions in prices, AI coins tend to lead. So I do think it's important to have some idea of how you want to trade AI, or how you want to incorporate it into your investment portfolio, considering that we know that it can exhibit some massive gains when the time is right. And this is another example of that, albeit being pushed into what is a news-based catalyst with all these events. But the thing with AI is that as there are certain technological breakthroughs, as there are upgrades, as there are events and whatnot, it thrusts AI back into the center of mainstream attention. And whenever that happens, you do see crypto treated as kind of an AI proxy bet, which rallies off the back of hype. So it makes it a very powerful narrative to trade in. But before we get into the 3 coins that I'm personally interested in, let's look through some of the top performers. So you can see over the last 7 days in the AI sector, if we sort by the top performers and we ignore some of these low caps here, because of course you're going to get much stronger gains when you don't have a huge market capitalization, we can see image generation AI is up 87%. You can see vector space is up 63%. In terms of some of the larger caps, you can see that Arai chain is up 47%. If we scroll down a bit, you can see Roku networks up 21%. Some of the majors, FET, Agix also in that 20% territory. They're your most capitalized AI coins, sitting at valuations of between $200 and $800 million. Another interesting performer in the AI sector is a coin that most people don't think is an AI coin, but Arkham actually raised $12 million from investors, including the founders of Palantir and OpenAI, and has VCs including Jeff Lewis at Bedrock and Tim Draper. They do provide intelligence for OpenAI, so this is a very interesting play in the AI sector. This is also performing super well as well. And you can see overall, out of all the crypto narratives, if you sort it by weekly performance, AI is leading alongside perpetuals with a 17% gain, perpetuals exhibiting a 27% gain, and also going back to last week as well, in a week that was actually down for altcoins, AI out of all the sectors held up one of the best. So it's clear that this is where the momentum is at the moment. So before you invest, I want to make one thing clear. In front of you on the screen is almost a bit of an AI cheat sheet. So AI does remind me of the gaming run of 2021. We saw a big company like Facebook, Microsoft investing. We saw speculation increasing, going crazy. We saw this earlier in the year. Prices skyrocketing. Then we saw the hype die down throughout the interim of the year, and a lot of the momentum for AI started to stagnate. But what does happen eventually is stage number 4 of the cycle of a new crypto trend. That's where the best projects in a niche finally cement themselves as the leaders, as the game changers of that specific niche. And it's your job as an investor to find some of those game changers, because we know that AI is going to be a big thing. Picking the projects is the hard part. It's the same as crypto gaming. We know that crypto gaming is going to be a big thing, but picking the projects becomes the hard part. So there's kind of 2 ways to think about this. There's long term and there's short term. Long term, you want to position yourselves in the coins you think are most fundamentally solid within that narrative. And this is all basically fundamental research, and you can put some relative valuations together to work out whether a protocol is undervalued or overvalued. One of the projects I'm going to show you later in this video as part of my 3 altcoin list, I do believe to be undervalued based on relative metrics. But then you also have the short term. And the short term is comprised of what are the best trades to take advantage of narrative hype. AI right now is clearly hyped, and if Bitcoin continues to rise in price and we do see a certain rotation into alts, I think it can continue to be a strong one. So in the short term, there are certainly trading opportunities. As long as you can differentiate between the two, I think you're set. Having that long-term portfolio where there's coins that you really believe in fundamentally, and then also having some exposure in the short term, like maybe even at the moment, where we're seeing huge price appreciation, there's a game there for you to make some profits as well. But you got to differentiate between the two. So important to do in crypto, especially when it comes to a narrative like this. I think crypto gaming is the best possible example for AI. So let's get into the 3 altcoin list. Got to start with the largest cap here, and that is Render Protocol. So Render's one that I've done a lot of research into. I actually did a full deep dive over on Crypto Banter into what Render is, but essentially what you need to know is it provides GPU power. What does AI need in order to function? It's of course GPU power. So Render is more of an infrastructure AI play. It's not AI specific, but it does help facilitate the usage of AI. And there will be more demand for GPU power over time as more AI technology emerges and more advanced algorithms and machine learning start to take place in our daily lives. So Render not only is a gaming project because it can help render games for like metaverses, but it is also an AI project because it can help facilitate the GPU usage of AI-specific protocols. And there's a great deep dive here by Leia GG Official that I recommend that you read in your own time as well, which essentially talks about Render's roadmap as well as its competitive advantages. The TLDR here is, I think, long-term, it's a super solid protocol with a lot of upside. The valuation, it's reasonable at a $1.2 billion FDV, but I don't think it's cheap. So in terms of TA, I'm definitely looking to increase my RR on my render buys by buying into key support on the higher timeframes like the daily and the weekly. The first major support band for render is $2.10. You've got another horizontal support at $1.14, and then you have your ideal accumulation range, which, look, we may not ever get down to again, but that's the 50-cent region. If we did get there, it would be a major gift for render, but right now these are some of your best levels to buy on support. Of course, that can also be invalidated by a breakout of 2.9. On the retest, this can form a new support band, but I do expect at some point that we do come back down and test, and then in my opinion, that would be a decent position to add to your long-term bags. Render is a long-term position of mine that I'm holding for my portfolio for next cycle in the AI sector. In the short term though, the AI sector is super hot, and Render is one of those coins that if you're a short-term trader, as I discussed before, could also present some opportunities. All right, let's get into the next two altcoins. Remember, I'm going to be providing a bonus altcoin at the end that I think is super low in terms of its market cap. I haven't even bought it yet, but it's one that is on my accumulation list. I wanted you guys to be the first to hear it from my mouth rather than me scoop it all up before you've even got a chance to look into it. So that's going to be the bonus. Make sure to stick around to look out for that. Before we get into the remaining altcoins of today's video, I want to give a quick word of thank you to the official show sponsor, which is De.Fi. De.Fi is essentially like DBank on steroids. It has a De.Fi social profile, a portfolio dashboard for you to track your portfolio. But I think the really interesting part about the application is the security aspect. So they have a scanner and a shield, which gives your portfolio a health rating and also enables you to find out whether certain altcoins are scams, whether they're safe investments from a smart contract perspective, as well as providing you with a Web3 antivirus as well. So there's lots of cool functions that the De.Fi application provides. The way I think of it is it's pretty much going to be your ultimate De.Fi application. It's actually a really good product to use. I've been playing around with the product over the last few days. The exciting thing is they've got a lot that is about to launch. So they've got an L2 chain coming. They've got De.Fi Connect coming, De.Fi GPT, which is a machine learning powered chatbot like GPT, which I think is going to be awesome too. And they're also backed by some of the biggest names in crypto. You can see they're huge angel investors as well as their backers here. OKX, Swissborg Ventures, Huobi Ventures, etc. They've got some massive backers. They are also currently executing their raise. So if you are interested in investing in the protocol, and please make sure you do your own research, make sure you're bullish on the project, make sure you understand the tokenomics. This stuff is so important. There's a link in the description below to all the resources that you can get on their website. And I also recommend going for secondary sources as well. But if you are interested in investing, there's a link in the description below to access their raise. In 2 days, the price is going to go up as round 3 is almost full. They're going to have a total of 10 rounds, but each round the price is going up. The current round price is 29 cents if you're bullish on the protocol and you want to get involved. Link in the description below to get involved. Make sure to do your own research. Remember, they are a show sponsor as well for full transparency. And you can see here the link. You click that and it will take you straight to the page where you have all of the information as well as the ability to invest if you do like the project. All right, let's get into the second coin of today's video. And this is one of the most popular AI coins, which is Adjix. It's funny, in the AI sphere, this is a really popular one, but in the general crypto sphere, I still don't hear a lot of people talking about it. And I think that just goes to show the potential that AI as a narrative has, because still, even though in AI circles, like people like me that kind of understand this niche maybe a little better than others, we know about it, but a lot of others just don't know about it. And your broader retail certainly don't know about it, right? Even Render, the biggest coin in today's video, over $1 billion FDV. Most people still don't know what that is. So these types of tokens, in my opinion, have huge upside, especially in a crypto bull run where retail comes back in. And your hot narratives, AI being one of them, of course, we're talking about it today for that reason, can be one of the strongest performers in that environment. So Adjix at a valuation of 300 million FDV, interestingly, is only a 2.2x above its ICO price, which is interesting, which was at 10 cents. So not a huge ICO price relative to the current price, although it had pumped an 18x and crashed all the way back down in the midst of the crypto bear market. SingularityNet has a lot going for it. As you can see here, this is the ecosystem, lots of multiple applications being plugged into the network, but essentially it's the network that can power all of these applications. So it does give you a bit of diversification in terms of the products being built within the ecosystem. And for me, fundamentals aside, AGIX really acts as a strong proxy, because at the end of the day, whenever AI pumps, AGIX tends to perform really well alongside other AI altcoins like FET. And because it's in that reasonable market cap range, for me, it constitutes a decent risk reward profile, especially on trades, given the fact that it has more liquidity than a lot of these other AI tokens. So AGIX, if you want to do what I did for Render and chart it out in terms of the weekly resistance and support levels, you have your major range support at 16 cents. This, in my opinion, would be an amazing accumulation zone from a technicals perspective. Or on the breakout and the retest of 25 cents, this also becomes an interesting zone as well. But everyone that thinks they've missed the AI boat, you certainly haven't missed the AI boat. These coins were a 10x higher during the bull run. They've honestly barely moved off their lows. Like the cycle low for AGIX so far is only a 52% away. If you made 52%, that's great, but it's not life-changing money. So everyone panicking into rushing, like don't worry about it. You haven't missed it. You're going to get accumulation opportunities. If you need to use technicals like I'm showing in front of you to act as confluence for your entries, do it. If not, just DCA over time on major red days. You know my motto when it comes to investing in altcoins. DCA into projects you believe in on major red days. Use the blood as an opportunity to accumulate. Don't buy into the weeks where the token is pumping in price. The good thing is now we're starting to get a slight rejection on AGIX off this major range high level. So that is what I'm looking at. All right, the next two altcoins, they are much lower in market cap. I've talked about two of the bigger ones that are going to constitute my portfolio, but I am now going to talk about some of the smaller ones. This next one I think has a lot of upside, and then the last one, although it's not technically AI, is one that's piqued my interest, but I actually haven't bought any yet, for full disclosure. The first one I want to talk about is image generation AI. This is quite interesting. It's kind of like the Web3 version of Midjourney. So essentially what happens is you can type in a short description of anything at all, and the bot turns your words into an original image. The more specific you are with the details, the more accurate the image's subjects will be. Nai already has 15 custom image models that can each generate your own image in a different style. Their governance token is, of course, powering the ecosystem, and you can see here in front of you, they are currently filling out an expansive roadmap. They have their pre-launch phase, their post-launch phase. We are currently still halfway through the roadmap. So next we've got the V2 build-out and the global expansion as well. So for me, it's a project with a super low market cap, 41 million. It's an interesting growth vertical. Yes, it's pumped over the last week, so obviously don't buy into any crazy hype or anything, but this is one that I'm definitely watching as a higher upside AI play, as I do understand the need for this, especially as a content creator. I would love to just be able to create thumbnails by typing into an application. So there are a lot of benefits as well to doing this on the blockchain, because I guess there are some questions like, why would you do it on the blockchain? Why wouldn't you just do this as a normal app? Well, essentially, a tokenized economy enables them to put in a governance system. So it allows people to have permissionless control over the protocol and allow the community to grow. Of course, also incentivizing token holders means that you can build more of a loyal community versus an app that people just use and aren't actually invested in. So there are a few more benefits, but you can read about that on their CoinVision article here, where it has all the details clearly outlined. So the next bonus coin is one that I don't own yet, and I talked about it earlier in the video. The fact that A, I don't own it, and B, it's not actually an exact AI play. The project I'm looking at is EMP. Some of my closest friends in the space have said this is a great protocol and have urged me to look more into it. So then I did a little bit more research into it, and so far I've been super impressed with what I've been reading. The best possible thread, I think, is by Crypto Distilled on this thesis. By the way, I'm going to go give him a follow because they've been putting out amazing content lately, but they say it's one of the most undervalued coins in the market. Of course, there are a lot of opinions on Twitter, but I highly recommend you read the thesis behind it. It's essentially trying to be the AWS of crypto. It's an infrastructure play. That's why I said it's not exactly AI, but the whole idea is that you can plug AI into it and it can be used as a protocol that can facilitate the usage of AI technology. So kind of similar to Render, it's giving you that toolkit to be able to create, build, and run successful applications. So there's a lot of interesting tokenomics involved as well. I recommend reading this thread, and I also just think you should look more into it. I don't even own it, but I just thought it would be something interesting for me to present today because I found it. It's a super low market cap, and I thought it looked good. I promise I won't buy by the time this video is live. I may end up buying some after this video is live, but I wanted to show you guys and give you kind of first access just to my brain and projects that I stumble across, because I thought it's just interesting to let you guys know what's coming across my desk. And yeah, I sent it to my researchers. They said that they liked the look of it, and some of my close friends as well are invested in this. So I thought I would include it, not as a pure AI bet, but as a little bonus one for you guys to look into. So important for you to do your own research in crypto, which is also why I not only like to give you coins, but also suggest certain verticals for you to research. So yeah, that wraps up the video. Those are my 3 AI coins plus a bonus one at the end. AI is a vertical I'm excited about. I think we're really early though. I think we're still a few years off seeing the full potential of AI in crypto, maybe even a decade off, right? But in the interim, it's certainly one of the most hyped narratives. And if we know anything about crypto, it's that narratives rule the game. So if you can capitalize on hype, you're going to end up doing really well. And honestly, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer narrative in terms of just where the world is going and where technology is going in general. Let me know what you think, though, in the comments below. If there's any AI coins that I missed that you think I should look into, that you want to slide across my desk, I'd be more than happy to research. At the end of the day, I'm first and foremost a researcher. This is something I'm passionate about. So if you have any coins that you want me to look at, I would love to hear of them in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. See you next time. Peace out.